The American dream to me is
The American dream to me is
When I hear American Dream, I think, well, I'm from Jamaica. And growing up, you would hear of a lot of kids and their parents going away, leaving them with their grandparents because they're going away for work to make money to send back home. And so growing up, I always thought America was a place of opportunity, a place where you could earn a living, you could earn a lot of money, and just make a better life for yourself. But I don't think it's an American dream. I think it's just a human dream.
the American dream to me is freedom.
the American dream to me is I guess happiness, freedom, but not in the sense of I think what we classically think of freedom is.
Freedom is the opportunity to do what you please.
Uh, it's really the will or the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. So, the old American dream was what, buy a house, raise a family in a good neighborhood, and raise your kids, make sure they go to college, and rinse and repeat, right? But I think ultimately, for me, what it has turned into is just ultimate freedom, financially, uh, and the ability to do what you want to do as you please.
Coming to America makes things, I want to say easier because you still have to work hard when you get here. It's hard in a different way. But the systems are already in place to help you succeed.
I do think the American dream has changed over time. I mean, just in my lifetime, just shy of 40 years, uh, it has changed for me. Coming up from meager beginnings, it was one day own a home, right? Or have a reliable car, right? All these basic things that I think as the generations continue to build and us as, coming from the backgrounds we do, digging out of the holes we have to dig out of, I think it does change. Um, and I think it depends on where your starting line is. Uh, I think that determines what the American dream means for you in particular.
I think, let me just take myself as an example. Being Jamaican American, meaning being black, let me just take two things that are me, being black and being a woman, that things like the abolition of slavery, obviously, and women's suffrage, and then the civil rights movement, those things that allow me as a woman to participate as a citizen, whether it is to vote, the right to take care of my own health, even now, with what's happening in the courts. And just generally, I think that as the country has evolved in terms of its laws and what people have the right to do or not do, I think that in itself changes the American dream in terms of expanding it then. Not that people's dreams have changed, but the ability for people to live out their dreams has changed. I think generally people want to be well, people want to earn a living, to take care of their families, people want to be successful, people want to be valued for who they are. And I think even as America evolves, that those basic things don't change. That those are the things that people want and need as human beings. So I would.
Yeah, I would say historical events have. I mean, obviously we're in a situation where we all understand the systematic uh, oppressions that exist. I mean, there's no denying that. Everybody is aware of, the things that exist that have pushed the starting line back for many Americans. I will say, for me in particular, my starting line was well beyond most. Money isn't everything, but it does mean a lot in terms of things you've got to overcome, things you can be exposed to, and options you have in order to dig out of that hole. So for me, the military was kind of my avenue to kind of jumpstart, the change that my family has. I've got 3 sisters, and all of us pretty much have been fighting that same battle. And I think the one difference was the exposure I had with good football coaches and different diversity in sports. But also I credit that a lot to the Marine Corps. Joining the Marine Corps has really, you're exposed to so much and so many people. You meet all different races, walks of life. My starting line was, my mother and father were working adults for sure. My mother bought her first house the same month I bought my first house. So all of these different things, in my background and what I've tried to provide for my family, it's kind of changed it for me a little bit. So not much cash flow within the home. Didn't know it when you're young, you don't know how broke you are, right? You're just young and you don't know anything else. But as you continue to mature and are exposed to different environments, you sort of see the basic necessities in life in which you lack in those areas, right? So for me coming up, the lights being off coming home was not a rare situation. I mean, that was something we just learned to navigate through.
So I never had a dream to live here, but I was dating a guy who became my husband. And so through that process of marriage, I became a permanent resident, and eventually we both became citizens. So that was the reason I followed a boy. I'm a poet. I'm a writer, yes. And I just published my first book of poetry. It's called Aching for the Amen. And it's kind of like a lament over a season of hardship that my husband and I went through at the time.
You when you grow up?
I want to be the president.
Why?
Because I want people to feel safe, and I don't want them to hide, and I want them to be comfortable with who they are.